Hi again, everybody. This is Lisa, and I hope you're ready for another Vinyasa flow class. Today, we're going to be doing some twists. I have my friend here, Bella. She's sleeping, and hopefully she'll sleep through the whole class. She probably will, but if she gets up and moves around, I have another dog too in the other room. She may get up and move around too. My daughter left to go back to school where she lives in Colorado, and so this little one here needs a little bit of reassurance, so I let her stay for today's class. All right, props that you may need, possibly a block, and for today I just brought something I had in the house. Be inventive. This is a step stool. You can use something like this in place of a block if you need to. So always kind of look around your house and experiment with things. You want something that just feels really stable and steady to rest your hand on. Another thing you may like to have is either a pillow or a towel. This may come in handy later in the class for one of our poses we're doing, one of our hip openers. So with that, let's go ahead and begin in a seated upright position, Sukhasana. And I want you to lift and elevate your spine. Start to roll the shoulders a little bit back and forward. And then from here, we're going to go into some neck rolls. So just start to kind of move the head a little bit side to side. And from here, we'll be doing some half circles. Coming down and then up. Coming forward and down and then out to the side. And then bring your head up. All right, so we're going to start with pranayama. Today, we're going to be doing breaths of fire, Kapalabhati breath. This is one where we're really kind of activating our diaphragm, our belly, our abdominals. And this is a pose that kind of wakes you up, warms you up, oxygenates the body. It helps to kind of boost the metabolism, and it will help to prepare us for our yoga practice today. So really important, sit up very tall, release the shoulders down. This breath is all done through the nose. And you're slightly exhaling out, drawing the belly in, keeping that slight constriction, and then you're doing little puffs of air out very quickly through your nose. The mouth is closed, and the belly should kind of flutter in and out. As you do quick puffs out with air, the belly will draw in, and then you'll take little in-breaths, and so the belly will move in and out, along with you in this pose. We'll do a couple of rounds. And let's just start with a couple of kind of cleansing breaths. So inhale through the nose, nice and tall, keeping the spine lifted. Exhale through the nose. Drawing the belly in at the end of the exhale. Inhale again. And then when you're ready, exhale through the nose. All right, from here we're going to begin. Take an in-breath through the nose now. Exhaling out, drawing the belly in, and begin those little puffs of air. Relax, release, breathe naturally for a moment. I'm going to do another round, make it a little bit longer. So notice with this round, if you were shrugging the shoulders up and down with your breathing, try and keep the shoulders still. Try and keep the spine lifted, the chest open. It's really hard to do this when you're collapsed and rounded. Another thing, if you find that you got a little bit lightheaded, you may want to just focus a little bit more on the inhale, drawing in a little bit, and then doing a fuller exhale out. Okay, so here we go. Inhale again. Exhaling through the nose, drawing the belly in, firming it up. And begin. Exhale out. Release and breathe naturally. You may find too, sometimes by the end of this, your stomach gets a little tired. The muscles do. So this is a way to kind of even activate the abdominals in this breath technique. At any time you may want to do more rounds of this. This is just 2 rounds that we've done for today. We're going to be moving on into our practice. But I would suggest doing more rounds. As you get better, you may be able to go a little bit longer and go for a higher count, or more rounds. So I would go for maybe at least 3 to 4 rounds of this breath technique. If you can go up to 6, even better. Okay, so from here, we're going to now still keep focusing on our breath with some seated cat-cows. Hands are on your knees, sitting up tall again. Start to draw the shoulders down and back, opening the chest. You'll inhale through your nose, extending, leaning forward, opening up the chest more, broadening the collarbones, taking the chin and the gaze up. And you'll notice you have a slight bit of arch in your back. The tailbone is slightly lifted off the mat. Exhale, release back, rounding, drawing the belly in, chin to your chest. From here, you're now rolling fully onto the tailbone. Inhale, forward and up. This is your seated cow. Exhale, this is your seated cat. Inhale. Exhale. Once again, inhale and exhale. Let's go ahead and sit back up. Extend your legs out in front of you and flex the toes. You're going to firm up along the front of your thighs. We're going to be moving into Dandasana, or staff pose. I'm going to turn sideways so you can kind of see my positioning. We're creating this kind of a 90-degree hinge, so we don't want to be too far back, we don't want to be too far forward, but we want to keep this tall lifted spine. So you're drawing the belly in, firming up the belly, and you're firming up all along the top of the legs and flexing the toes so much though so that you'll notice your heels may float off the ground a little bit. Hands are at your sides, fingertips pointed forward, coming straight down to the hips. Push into the earth with the hands to help lift the spine taller. You're engaging all along the length of the arms. Gaze is going forward and you're breathing. Let your focus continually move to all of your different body parts that you need to keep contracted. Focusing in once again on the hands, the belly, and the legs. This is a heating pose even though we're staying still because we're activating so many different muscles. Try and get Ujjayi breath going. The mouth is closed. You're accentuating your exhale so you can hear it in your throat as you breathe out. Maybe the chin is just a slight tuck in. All right, and now relax and release, shake everything out. From here, we're going to move into a pose called Ardha Matsyendrasana, half lower the fishes. go ahead and you'll pick up and bend your right knee, drawing the foot in close to your body. From here, cross that right foot over the top of your left thigh. You'll hook your left elbow around that right knee. Make sure you're pushing fully into the mat with that right hip. Lift the spine up tall and open your chest. Now draw the knee in a little bit closer to your chest. Maybe the chest stays open, but you're just leaning in a touch more towards the knee. You're breathing, and then inhale up with your right arm. You'll exhale and twist to your right. Notice my right hand is placed closer to my right hip, and as I twist on this exhale, I'm looking off beyond my right shoulder. If you want to go deeper in this pose, you can take the left hand and take that elbow, placing it to the other side or the outside of that right knee to go a little deeper. Head comes back to center. Release the arms. Release the leg out in front of you, shaking it out. And you're going to draw this right foot in again against the inside of the left thigh. And if that's too uncomfortable for the knee, maybe you're resting the foot to the inside of the left calf. This is now Janu Shirsasana, sitting up tall once again, opening the chest. Think about hinging straight forward from low in the hip crease. I like to start with this pose with my hands at my hips, just so that it helps to kind of accentuate the open chest and the hinge from the hips. And I'm just starting to lean forward some. It's just starting to get some stretch in the undersides of the thighs, your hamstrings. And if you can go forward and down more, feel free to do that. Let your gaze extend out beyond the left toes. For this last part of the pose, to add a little bit more back stretch. If it feels good to you, hands can come forward anywhere along you and you can fold on down. You can let the gaze go down towards the left knee. Gently rise back up. Extend both legs out, shake them a little bit. This time, you'll pull in your left foot, bending that left knee. Cross the left foot over the top of your right thigh. Sit up tall, and you're hooking this time the right elbow around the left knee. Taking a moment, really pushing into the mat fully with that left hip, lifting the spine up, opening the chest, drawing the knee in to whatever degree you can towards the chest, and maybe extending the chest in forward towards the knee. You'll notice it may give you a little bit more stretch in this left hip. On your next inhale, raise up the left arm, lifting tall. Exhale, twist to the left, letting your gaze extend out beyond the left shoulder and breathing. If you'd like to go deeper in this pose, the right elbow can go on the outside of that left knee. Gaze comes back, and uncross the leg. You're bringing that left foot either to the inside of your right thigh or to the right calf. Flexing the right foot. Once again, sit up tall. open the chest. Hinge from the hips, and as you exhale, extend forward. We're keeping the back a little bit flatter here, just to kind of accentuate the stretch in that right leg a little bit more. And if this pose feels good staying here, I want you to feel free to stay here for the duration of this pose. If you want to add a little bit more back stretch into this pose, from here you can extend forward and down and release. Slowly rise back up, shake the legs out again. And from here, make your way onto all fours. Going to move into just a few hip circles. Knees are about hip width apart, hands are coming down from your shoulders. Just start to turn in a circular motion in one direction. If you're feeling achy or sore anywhere, maybe you want to do just a little circle. If you want to go deeper, maybe you're making a bigger circle. You can go fast or slow, whatever feels good to you. The next time you come forward, stop, and now turn the other way. This is a great pose because not only does it open up the hips, the hip joints, but also the knee joints, they're rotating, the shoulder joints, and the wrist joints. And the next time that you come forward, you'll stop. Take your hands so that they're a little bit more towards the top of the mat. Extend your legs back into a plank. So make sure you're more on the balls of your feet. The shoulders are shifted. Let me move my equipment here a little bit. My shoulders are shifted over my wrists. And try not to let your bottom be sticking up or sagging down. We want to create a long straight line. Push into the earth with your hands. Let your gaze be towards the top of your mat. Draw the shoulders away from your neck. From here, just raise the right foot up. Try and keep the hips level. And continue to breathe. Lower the right foot down. Raise the left heel up, maybe 3 inches or so. Once again, right foot up. Right foot down, left foot up, left foot down. One more time. If you have wrist issues, you can always do this from a forearm plank. Same thing. Right foot up, right foot down, left foot up, left foot down. From here, release back into a child's pose. Knees come apart. Big toes come together. Let the forehead come to the mat, or you can rest your forehead on a block. Your bottom goes towards your heels. If that's too deep, you can always keep your bottom raised up. Hands are reaching forward. Take a minute, roll the wrists around. All right, rise back up. Moving into a plank again, and then from your plank, a down dog. Pedaling the feet. And then when you're ready, start to sink the heels down. You're pushing the bottom back and up. You're opening the chest more, drawing the lower belly in and up. If you need to, you can keep the heels up and the knees bent a little bit, or take a wider stance with your feet. From here, extend forward, back into your plank. Exhale down, chaturanga. Let's start with the knees on the mat. We'll do Ashtanga Pranam. Bottom is tucked in, toes stay on the mat. Release the chest and the chin. Push back up. Once again, Ashtanga Pranam, exhale. Inhale, this time to a cobra, taking a moment to draw the shoulders down and to keep the elbows tucked in at your sides. Exhale down. Inhale up. If it feels good to raise up a little higher, feel free, or you can stay lower. Exhale down. Once again, inhale to a cobra or curl your toes under. Push forward and up. To seal, thighs are on the mat. Make sure the shoulders are drawn down and back, and the shoulders are positioned above the wrists. Engage the thighs, lifting off the mat, and you're in upward facing dog. Breathing. Curl under your toes. Push back into your down dog. Take in another breath. Exhale, walk your feet forward to the top of your mat into Uttanasana, forward fold. You can always bend the knees if you need to. Let the head hang down, and the crown is pointing downward towards the mat. If you want, grab the elbows with the hands, if that feels good, or the hands can hang or rest on a block. Now, you may be a little tight in the hamstrings, so you may be really heavy in the heels and pushing the upper body back, your bottom back. Start to just shift forward a little bit more now. Lower belly pulls in and up, head hangs. Keeping the weight in the front of your feet. Inhale halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana, opening the chest, drawing the shoulders back, flattening, moving into more of a 90-degree hinge with the body. Your gaze is at the mat in front of you, and you're trying to find length in the neck. Exhale, release back down. Put some bend into your knees and slowly rise up, one vertebra at a time. Once your head comes up, you're reaching up with your arms and then bringing them together, exhaling in at your heart. Inhale up again. Gaze goes up, exhale, drawing in. All right, let's begin our sun salutation A. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Weight is in the front of your feet, and from your forward fold, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down, step back into a plank. Elbows are pointed back behind you. Exhale, chaturanga. Gaze stays in front of you. Point the toes. Inhale to a cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale the right leg up, roll the ankle around. Exhale, draw that right foot through to the top of your mat. Release that left heel down. Left toes are slightly forward. We're going for a right heel to middle of left arch alignment. Inhale, warrior one. Sinking into the right knee. pushing back in through the bottom of the outside edge of your left leg. Arms are drawn back. The right kneecap is in line with your second and third toes, and the knee is around the ankle area, either kind of above it, maybe a little behind. We just want to avoid that right knee going out in front of the toes. Breathing. Let's transition into a warrior two. If you have any injuries around the shoulders, you can accommodate for an injury by resting your hand on your waist, sinking in a little deeper, keeping the belly slightly engaged. Taking a look at that right knee, making sure it's not turning inward, but still is in line with your second and third toes. Releasing down and back with the shoulder blades. Now letting your gaze extend out beyond the right fingertips. From here, hands come to your waist. Straighten the right leg. If you have a real long stance, you may want to step that back foot in just a little bit. We're moving to Utthita Trikonasana, triangle. Take that left hip, angle it up. Keep a slight micro bend in that right knee. And always feel free to use your block if you need to for this pose. You can place the block against the right leg, resting your hand on it. As you're here, open up to the left. So a slight twist or pulling back of the left side of the waist. And then left hand goes up to the sky. If you don't need the block, your hand can go to the shin or the ankle. Keep trying to take this left hip upward and extend your whole spine forward. Touch is light in the right hand. From here, take your left hand, circle it down by the hip. As you exhale, inhale it forward and up. Exhale down. Inhale up. One more time. Exhale down. Inhale up. All right, from here, take your gaze back to the floor. Hands come back to the floor also. You're in your runner's lunge. Step that right leg back into your plank, taking an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. From here, inhale the left leg up. Rotate the ankle around. Draw that left foot through to the top of your mat. Right heel comes down. Right toes are slightly aiming forward. Inhale, rising back and up into warrior one. Taking a moment to stabilize in the front leg, to position that knee correctly. Then to push weight into the outside edge of that back foot. Arms are drawing back. You should feel a nice opening in the front of the right hip here. Breathing, checking in with the breath, keeping it moving, and transitioning now to a warrior two. Opening that left knee, belly is slightly engaged. Shoulders are released down away from the neck. And from here, let the gaze extend out beyond your left fingertips. Hands come to your waist. Keep your footing as it was, or if you like, you can draw that back foot in a little closer, straightening the front leg, but keeping a micro bend in the left knee. Angle the right hip up. Extend out, reaching with the left hand. When you can't reach anymore, hand comes to the block or your shin, rotate to the right. You will naturally start to take your gaze upward. You can raise the right hand up now, and if you can, gaze goes up to the ceiling towards the right hand. Your breathing touches light in the left hand. Find length in the spine, trying to take the spine and the head more forward. As you next exhale, swing that right arm down by your hip. Inhale it forward and up. Exhale down. Inhale forward and up. One last time. Exhale down. Inhale up. Return your gaze back to the mat. Bend the left knee. Right hand comes down. You're your runner's lunge. From here, you're moving into your plank and then exhaling chaturanga. Always feel free to do a knee chaturanga if you'd like. Inhale to a cobra or up dog, and then exhale to down dog. From here, taking another breath, rise into the toes, bend the knees. Look between your hands. At the end of your next exhale, lightly hop or walk forward. Weight goes and stays into the front of your feet. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. From that Uttanasana we just landed in. Exhale back to Uttanasana. Inhale, rise, reaching up. Exhale, namaste. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold and down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down, step back into your plank and your chaturanga. Inhale your right leg up and then step it forward through to the top of your mat. On your next inhale, you're rising back into your warrior one. From here, transitioning into, I'm going to move back a little bit so I have more room, transitioning into your warrior two. Keeping your gaze going forward beyond the right fingertips, we're going to move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So take a gaze about 15 inches in front of your right baby toe. I should let you know too, if you're on a thickly padded ground, you may want to move to a firmer surface. My carpeting is pretty thick, so this is always a little bit more challenging for me on the carpet to maintain my balance. You're going to start to extend forward and lift off with the left leg. Right hand comes down to the mat or to the block. You're raising the left leg at hip level. Left arm goes up. Open and pull the left hip back, the left shoulder back, and if you can, gaze goes out to the side or up to the sky. Breathing. Take the gaze back down to the mat. Bend that right knee. Step back big with your left leg into your runner's lunge. Right leg follows. Inhaling. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. From here, inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through to the top of your mat. Inhale, warrior one. Sinking in. From here, transition into warrior two. Let the gaze extend out beyond your left fingertips. And from here, take a look down on your mat, maybe 12 to 15 inches in front of that left baby toe, or maybe you want to have your block positioned in that space. Start to transfer your weight into this left leg and release the left hand down so that it's positioned pretty much beneath the left shoulder. Right arm and right leg go up. Open and pull back the right hip and the right shoulder. See if you can take your gaze up to the sky. Breathing. Gaze goes back to the mat. Step the right leg back. You're in your runner's lunge. Inhaling, left leg follows. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. All right. Take in a breath. On your next exhale, lightly hop or walk forward to your Uttanasana. Then inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise and reach up. Exhale, namaste. All right, we have one more round. We're going to add a revolved half moon into this. It's a little bit more challenging. It's a big twist. And you may want to have your block, or for example, I can even show you this time with the stool, whatever your prop is, have that available. All right, here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, down. You can either jump back into your chaturanga or step back with an inhale. If you jump back to your chaturanga, you're on your toes and you're exhaling out. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the right leg up. Exhale, pull it through. Rising at your next inhale to warrior one. Then keep the breath moving, transition into warrior two. From here, we're moving into half moon once again. I'm going to grab my prop to show you. So I will use the stool, transferring forward, maybe because the body's getting used to this pose, it may feel a little bit more comfortable this time. Breathing. Take the gaze back down to the floor. Lower the left hand back down to the floor or move your prop underneath that left hand. The left toes turn down to face the floor, the mat. Now, as you're here, that left leg may fall. I want you to re-engage. Firm it up, extend it back strong and straight. Draw the the right hip back. On your next exhale, twist to your right, raising the right arm up or keeping it on your waist if you have an injury. The gaze goes off to the right or towards that right hand. This is a big pose. Try to keep your breath going. Try and keep that right hip released away from the waist. So you're trying to square off the hips. Gaze goes back down to the mat. Lower the right hand. Take the left leg back. Move your prop out of the way. And then into your plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, let's move into a child's pose. Rise back up from your child's pose. Make your way into your down dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through to the top of your mat. Inhale, warrior one. Breath is continuing to flow. Transition into your warrior two. Once again, choose whatever prop you'd like to use. And from here, we're going to move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Gaze extends forward. Extend that left arm forward. Maybe placing the block or the hand about 15 inches or underneath the left shoulder. Raising the right arm up. Opening out to the side. And breathing. Gaze goes down. Move your block or your prop off to the right hand. Lower the right hip and the right foot down, keeping the right toes pointed towards the mat. Draw your left hip back. Re-raise the right leg up strong and straight. On your next exhale, twist to your left. Left arm goes up. Gaze goes off towards the left hand, or left hand can go to your waist. Physically kind of pull that left hand away, or excuse me, the left hip away from you if you have that left hip on the waist. As you fatigue, the right leg is going to start to fall. Make sure you're breathing. Re-raise the right leg up. And commit to the pose for another breath. Left hand comes down. Step back into your runner's lunge. And then from here, your plank and your last chaturanga. Inhaling to whatever position you prefer. Exhaling back to down dog. And then rising onto the toes, exhaling, lightly hopping forward. Or walking to Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise and reach up. Exhale, namaste. Okay, from here we're going to move into a bigger hip opener. And I want you to once again, make sure you have some props. Let me grab my water here. All right, so our big hip opener for the day is going to be double pigeon. For some people, this can be an uncomfortable pose because it works both hips at the same time. And some people have difficulty setting up into it either because they're really tight in their hips or because they have some knee issues. So, if that's you and this is a difficult pose to set up into, you can always try double pigeon, and if it doesn't feel right, this is how I'd like for you to set up. We're going to start by working the right hip. So you will take your left foot, draw it in closer to you, whatever is comfortable, and this is the modification. You're going to extend that right leg out in front of you. Right foot is flexed. The knee is hinged about 90 degrees here. We're not going into Sukhasana or a lotus pose. The foot is on the floor, out in front of you. And you're pushing into the mat with that right hip so that you're not floating up and off. All right, double pigeon people. Make sure you have your block or your blanket because this is where it really comes in handy. What you're going to do is a little different. We're not going to pull this foot in so close, this left foot. We're going to keep it out in front of you, away from your body some. Flex the left foot. Then you're going to pick up your right foot, keeping it flexed, Take this right ankle bone. You're resting it on top of your left knee. Now, I like to kind of push up and then release down so I can really focus in on that right hip to make sure I have it grounded into the mat. You may notice that you have some air space here from tightness in the hip or along the side of the thigh. Just with time, you'll notice that that will slowly improve, but it's really nice here to either place your block in that air space to give you some support. When you get a little bit more opening, you can pull it away, or even nicer is a blanket, because you can prop it up, and then when you feel like you have a little bit more opening, maybe you're just unfolding it once, but still using it. And then as you get even more or greater opening, you may be able to pull it out altogether. But feel free to keep that the block or the blanket underneath the whole time. All right, so I want to show you next the setup. It's really important here to kind of have the knees in the same position, the feet. So if you find that one foot's kind of tucked under to make the pose a little more comfortable, we want to really get the right alignment so that the toes, take your hands to the tips of your toes, they come together and meet. You should look at that airspace between your legs and see like a perfect triangle. At the same time, you really want to push into the mat with that right hip. If you're floating up in the pose like this and lift it off, I would say you'd be better off doing the modification or the variation of this pose, because you'll be more comfortable and it'll be safer for you. All right, so we've been in this pose for a little bit of time. The body's getting used to it and opening up some. You shouldn't be into a place of sharp pain. If you are, once again, I would say move into your variation of this pose. All right, so we're going to add eagle arms to this, kind of stretch out a little bit more. What you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand. You can set up in this pose one of two ways. You can create a 90-degree hinge. The hand is kind of right in line with the middle of your face, and that right elbow goes underneath the left. You'll wrap and bring the hands together. If it's hard to bring the hands together, take the backs of the palms together. Another option is taking both arms out in front of you. The right elbow goes underneath the left, and then you're just rotating. Once you made that connection, draw the shoulders down. Make sure you're not lifted up with one of the shoulders. Draw them both down. If the hands are really close to your face, just pull them away. For this last bit of the pose, you're breathing. If you feel like you can or want to go deeper, maybe you're hinging forward, taking the arms down to whatever level is comfortable for you. And if hinging forward isn't comfortable, then please stay upright. Notice, is the face relaxed? Do you have space between your teeth? Can you breathe comfortably? Slowly lift up, release your hands, taking them behind your hips, and then lifting off, slowly open up the legs. Rolling them a little bit, shaking out, and then let's go to the other side. Once again, if you're going to do the variation, this time you're going to draw the right foot in closer to the body. The left foot is going to be positioned out in front of you. Left foot is flexed. If you're going to do the full pose of double pigeon, you're going to take this right foot, pull the heel away from your body, and you're flexing the right foot. Your knee is about a 90-degree bend. Then you'll pick up the left foot, take and rest this left ankle bone on top of your right knee. Flex the left foot. Once again, I like to kind of push up and then release down onto my mat. Position my feet so that the toes are about the same, equidistant apart, and then start with a little bit of prop underneath that left knee if you need it. And then know too that as you slowly open up more, you'll be able to take the prop away. You're breathing. If you're in a place of more intense discomfort or pain, I would suggest, once again, moving into the modification. Take a moment here, and I'd like for you to kind of lean into that left hip. Push straight down. It will take you a little bit deeper in this pose. All right, this time we're bringing the right arm in front of you. Left elbow goes under, twist, and pull. Or you're taking, this time, the left elbow so it goes directly beneath the right. You're reaching out and just doing a twist together. The forearms and the palms or backs of the hands come together. Draw both shoulders down. Make sure the shoulders are at the same height. And breathe. Hands are slightly pulled away from the face, and you're continually kind of using the pressure or the torque of the arms wrapped around each other to keep drawing the shoulders down. If you want at any time, you can hinge from the hip crease and extend forward, exhaling, coming down to whatever level is comfortable. If you're not using your block between your knees, let's try it like this. You can always come forward and rest the elbows on the block. You may find too that there are differences between the two sides of the hips, big differences. There are a lot of reasons for that, depending on what activities you've been doing or maybe that you haven't been doing. If you've been doing a lot of sitting, the hips can get real tight also. If you've been doing a lot of running, the hips can get real tight. Let the face go soft, maybe close the eyes and just breathe. You're almost there. Slowly lift up, unwrap the arms, coming back carefully. Release the legs. They might feel kind of stiff or numb. Let the blood flow down the legs, and then you can roll them, shake them, whatever feels good to you. All right, from here, we're just going to finish off quickly by laying down on your backs, extending your legs out in front of you, reaching behind with the arms, pulling the body apart, finding length, drawing the belly in. Exhaling the arms down, drawing the right knee in or both knees in if it's more comfortable for your back. Taking in a breath, exhaling, and rolling to the left side of your body. Opening up the right arm and turning your head to the right. A modification for this pose so it's not as intense. Maybe you're reaching behind you with the right arm. Maybe the right arm is resting on your hip. Gaze comes back to center. Roll onto your back. Go ahead, reach up, find length in the body once again. Exhale, hands come down. You're drawing the left knee in, or feel free to draw both knees in. And then on your next exhale, twisting to your right. Opening up the left arm and turning your head to the left and doing any modifications that best suit you. Take your gaze back, roll onto your spine, extend the legs out in front of you one more time, and you're reaching behind your head also one more time, pulling the entire body apart. Exhale, draw your arms down, Draw your shoulders away from your neck. Space the legs apart. Draw your arms out to your sides. Palms are turned up. Or if you prefer it, rest your hands on your belly if it feels good to feel the breath rise and fall. I want you to take a moment before we set up in Shavasana to use any props underneath you. Maybe you want a blanket underneath your head, or you can roll that blanket up and place it underneath your knees, or use a bolster. Whatever feels really good to help you get release in this pose. I'm going to be using my crystal healing bowls today to take us out of Shavasana. So as you're here in your final resting pose, I want you to, if you haven't already, of course, close the eyes, put space between the teeth, soften the forehead, soften the mouth, and continue to soften and release down the neck, down the shoulders, and out through the fingertips. Start to once again let go from the heart down to the belly. The breath will naturally slow down. It will become lighter. Let any kind of tension around the back, the belly, release down through the hips, the thighs, the calves, and any last bit of remaining tension release out through your toes. By now, the body's becoming more quiet, more still. Let the thoughts of the mind kind of shift, slowly float away as you do just a final bit of rest from your yoga practice, letting the body rejuvenate itself. Start to bring you back to your body and your breath. Start to breathe more deeply, wiggling your fingers, your toes, but not feeling rushed in any way. From here, roll to your right side, staying in your fetal position and drawing in a deeper breath. And now rise up into a comfortable seated position for yourself. Hands come together at your heart, chin to your chest, and eyes closed. Life is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Thank you for being patient and persistent with your body, with your mind, spending time to set up your yoga mat and do something so good for your body, for your mind, for your total health. I wish you a good week ahead, and as always, the divine in me bows to the divine in you. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope to see you next time for our next class. Be well, be healthy, and be happy. Take care.